How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. As always, this is Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights Supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. We are reading a one-shot here, A Face in the Palm of My Hand. This is by Kuwata Jiro. I have not read anything by Kuwata Jiro yet. This is my first thing I've read by him, but I believe this is the guy who did 8-Man, and maybe some other stuff, but like that's primarily what I know him as, the guy who did that. But yeah, so we're going to read a one-shot here. This was an extra and a tankobon in a volume of manga that was, I think, combining like two separate series together into one volume, and then also had to fit in this one-shot to just make it worth it. But the rest of it's not translated. Only this is translated. But either way, we got a literal face in the palm of the hand. You know, I thought that was going to be more metaphorical. Thought that was going to be like, you know, being downtrodden and stuff. But nope, that is very literal. There's a face in the palm of my hand. And it's got some alien-like tentacle fucking eyebrow bits. It's got like, you know, sort of devil mouth again. This kind of looks very similar to the way that that Go Nagai draws a lot of devils and stuff like that, interestingly enough. Then we got sort of very traditional shonen silhouette here down at the bottom. A little bit more, you know, grown up than you would expect from a normal shonen sort of main character, but still the same. Space Life Research Bureau. Okay, so that's going to be a space alien gets attached to the palm of his hand. So yeah, here in the bureau, this guy here stabs his hand through the fucking table because he can tell there's a face on it or something. Okay, not what I was expecting us to start off with. Oh, great typesetting here, too. Fantastic. And the suicide, I mean, I know how you would immediately think that walking in, but it doesn't seem like a suicide at all. But alright, put him on the ambulance, bring him to the hospital. Oh, I do like the way this guy draws faces. You know, it's very generic, but it's very perfected generic as well. I think that's the best way to put it. It's a very perfected generic version of this. Also, I should have said, this came out in 1968 as well. Why would he slit his own wrist? Yeah, okay, it wasn't his wrist. Stabbed that knife through the palm of his hand. He was dead long before he got to the hospital. But all he did, yeah, who's ever heard of someone dying from being stabbed in the hand? I don't understand if it was his wrist, but it wasn't his hand that killed him. It was his heart. He had a heart attack. The shock from stabbing his hand caused his heart to stop. Yeah, that's what it would seem, but... Oh, yeah, it's something else. It was whatever he saw gave him the heart attack even after he stabbed his hand. Okay, kept a diary. Let's go check out that diary, see what it says. 7th of February, I heard rumors of a meteorite that crashed into Mount Silver. 8th of February, I traveled to Mount Silver to investigate and found a giant meteorite at its peak. I found a seed, the likes of which I have never seen before. I thought this could have been from some alien seed. Okay, that's the seed you're talking about. Yeah, definitely looks like an alien seed. So I decided to take it back to the lab to run some tests on it. 5th of February, the seed I brought back to the lab took root and sprouted. 20th of February, the plant grew and grew into a plant I'd never seen in all my life. There was no doubt in my mind, this was a plant from another world. And it grew real fast. In like fucking 5 days, it grew that much. Holy shit. While observing it one day, the plant's vines suddenly grabbed me. And that wasn't all. The bulbs on the head opened to show a gaping mouth of razor-sharp teeth. The teeth closed in on me. I did all I could to fight back. Oh, I love how clean this guy's art is. God damn. Like, you know, I kind of thought he was going to be a little bit more of just a generic, like, yeah, he's done some other, like, writer-esque stuff or Toku-esque stuff, but didn't think it was going to be that, you know, notable, but now I'm a lot more like, maybe I do want to check out some of his stuff. His art is very clean. Finally broke free. Didn't notice it at the time, but a thorn nicked the palm of my hand. Okay, so then his hand's going to, like, grow the same, like, faces as this. I mean, it seems quite different. But he's got an alien spore inside him in some way or another. It's not quite a seed, it's a thorn. But I guess a thorn nicked the palm of my hand. But then maybe a seed got in. Or maybe just, you know, spores got in or something. Thought the plant to be some sort of carnivore. Then on the 22nd of February, I was cursed by strange dreams all night. 23rd of February, there's something wrong with my hand. I can feel it. And then it ends here. So yeah, definitely the injury from the plant is what caused him, and like, yeah, then he could just feel something wrong with his hand, but we didn't like see it or anything like that. The fact that we didn't see it, I imagine he didn't see it either, he could just feel it. And something inside, maybe the plant strangled his heart like a heart attack, or it was just the fear that gave him the heart attack. It looks like we need to get to the root of this. But but I love this style so much. This guy is a great mangaka right out the gate. He does not feel as amateurish as pretty much every single person does in the 60s. He feels already completely fully formed right out the gate. But yeah, I don't know, even the angles he uses, like, showing from behind the head here of him looking on. It's just something about the way he draws that it's hard to get across unless you've been watching my reactions to, like, all the shit from the 60s. I feel like if that's the case, then you get this across. But, like, it's an art style that's hard to praise exactly because it's definitely just, like, perfecting the 60s style. And I'm so surprised, because we've read a lot of other stuff by a lot of huge, much bigger name people that hasn't felt this clean and this, like, high quality. But it's also, again, it's hard to come across why. It's similar, like, I've been reading every Marvel comic from the 60s, up till around 69 or 70 at this point. But, it's hard to get across sometimes certain artists having, like, really, distinct, clean styles over other ones if you're not reading everything and seeing the whole gambit. Because to an outsider, it's just like, it doesn't seem impressive, really. But, I guess it's sort of like, this is a weird way to compare it to, maybe a bit too highly, but, like, Citizen Kane, there's a lot in Citizen Kane that's hard to appreciate now, just because every movie does it, it's a thing that, invented a lot of stuff, or at least popularized a lot of stuff, but it's hard to really appreciate that at the time, unless you're watching a ton of other shit around Citizen Kane to get, like, an idea of what the average thing was like around this time, and then you watch Citizen Kane and you sort of understand. But, aside from doing something like that, which is kind of what we're doing with the manga right here, or comics as I'm reading all the Marvel comics, unless you're doing something like that, you're sort of immersing yourself within the time period, it's hard to appreciate this sort of things. But because we are very immersed in the 60s right now, reading basically everything from the fucking 60s, it feels like, just a panel like this with him, like, reverse shot just feels impactful. It's like, that's something even modern manga don't do that much, just because it's like, well, why would you, Well, why not just stick with the stuff that's easiest to do, like quarter shots? But I do appreciate this guy being like, maybe it's an alien plant, but it doesn't look that much different from crazy plants we have here on Earth, because we got crazy shit here too. Could have just been all in his head. Yeah, just, schizophrenic or something like that, and that's what caused this whole panic. There's no way there's teeth inside this thing. But then it starts to turn on him. Rip, it captures him. The teeth opens up. God, I love the look of this too. Very scary. Very good artist here. God, I love the look at the body here. It's very well proportioned. Got to give Kuwata Jiro a lot of praise. Was not expecting it to be this perfected and this clean. And as well as, the people who scanlated this, like the translation, the typesetting, the everything, all very, very well done. And he goes to bite him, but instead it rips through the vines instead. All right, now they come in. Okay, him as well. So second time it went for the hand. It didn't go for the hand. We kind of put our hand up in front of it. But this time it bit our hand. A little bit different. I just called myself one of the thorns. Okay, never mind. It was one of the thorns as well. But I don't see any thorns here. So, okay. Does it actually have thorns, or was he mistaken? It's the teeth. But now, him as well. Alright, throws him back. But, okay, is he still safe? For some reason, it's not going for him right now. Alright, informing him. Don't know exactly how, but this plant definitely has a connection with Nakamura's death. We don't quite know how, but alright. We're going to talk about this in the morning. No sense talking about it right now, I guess. So, everybody goes to sleep. My hand's injured, just like Nakamura's. What's going to happen with this? God, love the cross-hatching here. Just love all the, hatching across all these pages. So much hatching. Very, very rare for this time as well. We got to read some more Kuwata Jiro. I was not expecting to love him this much, but it's so clean. It's so perfectly understandable. Every single panel, even like the sound effects are like really well done. They're just super clean. They're never convoluted or complex or being hidden by a thing or whatever. Like, just can't praise it enough. But he's having the nightmares too. Nightmares of this strange face from the cover. Yeah, shouted awake. But alright, had a nightmare, go back to your room. Okay. And yeah, cursed by the strange dreams all night long. It's happening to you at a lot faster pace. I mean, I guess it was, quickly after he was stabbed as well. But alright, and these little tentacles coming out of his hand. So is this what Nakamura saw as well? God damn, this is a good panel. Holy shit. Damn. This guy's definitely top 5 artist of the 60s for sure, if not top 3. Holy fuck. Like, other ones I like, because they're more experimental and unique, but this guy's just so perfectly clean. Look at this. That's so good. So good. Yeah, he's great at doing horror right now as well. This is, it's not like scary, but it's just like, it's perfect level, like, Halloween scary that I want. But yeah, here's the face in the palm of his hand. But he tries to close it, but the tentacles still worm their way through. Open your hand. Open it. Yep, gonna try and stab through it as well. But then, what the hell? A shock throughout his body? I've come from the depths of space. I was on that meteor for so long, and since my arrival, I have been lying in wait for life to cling to. So then it possesses thing. It try, So it was clinging to the meteor. Then it let off a spore or like a seed that we then plant to turn into a plant that then attacks you with a thorn or its teeth to implement itself into a person. That's a lot, but that's also kind of how, actual sort of plants go, except without the hitching a ride on a meteor. But, yeah, so it wants to spread its seeds. Instead of, like, having an animal carry it, it wants a human to... I guess it just wants to be a parasite as well. It's sort of it's a parasite plant as well. But how do these plants repopulate in this way? If it's possessing us here, will we die and then create seeds? Or, why do the seeds from the plant, why do the seeds turn into a plant which then turns into a parasite? And yes, he's saying he's long dormant in the thorns, and so the thorns are real, but also, so he was like, he was dormant in the thorns. What does that mean? Are you not a part of the plant? Well, like, but like, a suitable host, the other one wasn't suitable because he had a heart attack. So, like, are you the same entity, or is this like a hive mind situation, or was that like another one of your species, or what? And now your hand acts as my host. Okay, so this is like a parasite sort of situation, like the series Parasite. And soon you obey my every command. Now go, take my main body somewhere safe. And so, okay, is the main body the plant? Okay. Something like that, so that makes a little more sense than if it's like a hive mind between the two. Bring forth as many hosts as you can, so that my brethren might live once again. Alright, knocking on the little boy's room. Gonna introduce him to the plant, make him a host as well. And yeah, make him try and come close to us, but then turn around. So, yeah, is this thing gonna bite him? What's the thorns then? It seems like the teeth, and now it's the teeth again. But instead, our main character leaps out the window, gets some sense of control for a second, maybe? But yeah, don't look at my hand. Don't look at it. This is important. We need to burn that plant right now. Okay, just burn it. But yeah, no, wait, you can't. Is that his own voice? Like this guy's voice? What? You gotta just believe in the one that you can see speaking. It's my hand talking. Go, burn the plant to the ground. Okay, he does. Alright, got some gasoline, I assume, or something, or maybe some like tinder or something. But yeah, it's gonna try and stop you. So okay, it's gasoline. Throw it at it. Light it on fire. Torch it down. Nice. Alright, now what is he gonna do? Just walk into the fire? Okay, put his hand in the fire. Burn it off. Oh my god, brutal. Brutal. But this is cool. Very rarely do you get the horror story where we're actually like defeating the villain. Damn, yeah, burnt his hand all up. But might have defeated it. Did we actually manage to defeat it in time? Yeah, okay, he didn't lose his arm or anything. Still be able to use it after a little bit of surgery. And if my heart were any weaker, that thing in my hand would have killed me. Yeah, that's what he meant by a suitable host. And yeah, the chief tried explaining it to everybody, but they wouldn't believe a word. Oh, not that I can blame them. Hard to believe in myself. The universe really is a big place, huh? I'm sure there are countless life forms out there, ones we can't even begin to comprehend. I'm sure of it. Loved this one. 10 out of 10. No notes. Perfect. Perfection. the art, the story, everything was just absolute perfection. This is what I want out of a little, short horror story. We got a cool monster. We got, a decently followable cast. Like, they weren't like hyper generic, but they also weren't like, so unique that it made it a little bit then harder to follow. You kind of want more generic people for a horror story. I feel like, for other stories, I want more complex characters. For horror stories, unless it's psychological, I mostly, want a more generic cast. But I want them to be like, I want them to not just be like generic in the terms like you don't have to care about them. I want them to be generic in the terms of this, where they're like perfected stereotypes of these sort of characters. We played it entirely straight, not really like any comedy to this one. Typically not my thing. I usually like comedy, but something of note there. And the fact that we defeated the villain in the end, we didn't even get like a sneaky like, oh, but it might still be alive. It's like, no, we defeated it. This was just an episode of like, a tokusatsu TV show sort of thing around this time in the like mid 60s. It's just so perfectly that, it's so perfectly not even a Twilight Zone episode or anything like that, because that would have had like a worse end. Like, it's hard to really say what this is. It just feels like an episode of an upbeat TV show, where we honestly kind of like Ultra Q a little bit, maybe sort of like that a little bit more. But yeah, just enjoyed it, and I enjoy this time period having like adult main characters for a lot of our stuff. It's cool. But yeah, thank you, Afternoon Pulp. Thank you for translating this bit. Appreciate it. Thank you for the translation, Togwolf. Thank you, QC, Amatu and Bat, and for the Rawls and editing. Thank you, Afternoon Waiter. Thank you all very much. But yeah, this was a very fun one-shot we did. I forgot to even say at the start, this is for One-Shot-tober that we're doing. And I hope to see you guys for some more of the one-shots that we're going to be doing this month. I'll see you guys for some more. And again, we got to read some more Kuwata Jiro at some point. Until then, until next time, whatever one-shot we read, more Kuwata Jiro or whatever, check out more stuff on this channel if this is your first video on the channel somehow. Until next time, get the fuck out of here.